Good morning, everybody. This is Professor Rich with a little different approach to our wrap up on learning styles. But today, for the next few days, I'm asking you to focus on what would be known as the natural learning style. We've discussed the physiological, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. We discussed that the psychology, our personal psychology, plays a part in learning as well as our associations and groups. But natural learning, it seems to me, speaks more to motivation because something occurs that causes us to realize that we have to acquire some new knowledge or information. Last week, I made a statement. We were talking about teaching a baby how to tie its shoes. Well, at some point, the baby is going to be walking and realize that one of its shoes is loose, and it will bring that concern to mom or the caregiver. And that is an example of how natural learning works. The child realizes that in order to walk successfully, it has to be able to put the shoe back on, and it has to know how to do that itself in order to be able to have autonomy. Quite a lot to consider early in the morning, I know. Another example, we'd have a father and his son in the kitchen cooking. And his son goes, "Daddy, can I touch that?" And he's pointing to the stovetop. And Daddy says, "No, son, it's hot. You can't touch that." And his son goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, because it's hot and it would hurt you." And the little boy looks at the stove and looks at Dad and then goes, "But why?" And he said, "But it's going to hurt you, my boy." And so Daddy turns around, and of course, his son reaches up, touches the stovetop, gets burned, and starts crying. Well, that child participated in the natural learning process. The child asked meaningful questions, didn't know what was going on. Dad's cooking. I don't know. I haven't seen that before. What's going on? Can I touch? Can I look? Can I taste? And so the child, not getting the type of information he or she wanted from Dad, obtains relevant information by touching the stovetop. What a lesson in life. And the conclusion is that that child has now developed important answers to its questions because it now knows what hurt means and it knows what hot is. And, hopefully we don't have to go through such serious lessons, but that's an example of how the natural learning process takes place. So, the types of natural learners we have thinking, feeling, doing, and innovating. Now, natural learners invigorate themselves by asking meaningful questions. But depending on our particular learning style, we're going to be asking different types of questions. Not exactly all the reporter's questions, but those are key to getting through life. But we have questions such as who or why did this happen, or what is going on, or how? How can we do this? Or what if we did it a different way? So I can tell by listening to questions that students ask what type of learner they are. And, I'm not always totally focused on doing this, but I have found that if I can craft my response to appeal to their learning style, they feel as though they got a very good answer to a question. So it's not that the information is different, it's about making it easier to reach them so that they can acquire it. Thinking learners are associated with what? Very logical. Again, they're the Spock type of people from Star Trek. They want the facts and they want to proceed. They want to know, they want the relevant information so they can go forward. The feeling learners. Why is this happening? Who is this going to affect? And, I'm I did that mock-up MBTI like you folks did, and I'm not a feeling learner. I rarely ask those questions. And whenever I ask them, I feel as though maybe I'm feeling sorry for myself. However, a feeling learner just thinks that it's normal, and to question everything is inappropriate to them. So, as I mentioned earlier, understanding learning styles can not only help you, but it can help you understand others. Doing learners, like Nike says, just do it. Doing learners ask the question, how? I want to get going. I don't want this to go on any longer. How can I do this? Some of you here are doing learners, innovating learners. That's what I am. What if? You know, when I was younger, I attended Catholic school, and the nuns, one said, you're always scheming, Richard. Because I was always saying, what if? I was looking for a loophole in the rules. I was looking for a way of doing one thing but getting the reward for two. What if? I'm looking to put two items together to create a wonderful invention. That's how I am. Some people, no matter what's put in front of me, I like to take it apart and try to reassemble it better. Ask people that know me from things that I've purchased, brand new things, and I'll open them up to see what they look like. It's just how it goes for some people. Now, we have, before we carry on, I want to touch base on a couple of little concepts. You've probably heard people use the concept left brain and right brain. Well, this was authored, this was authored, let me come on down, in the 60s by Dr. Roger Sperry, and he discovered that the left and right sides of the brain specialize in different modes of thinking and perception. He put an electroencephalograph on people, and he would see more activity with certain aspects. So what he learned was that left brain people had more activity when they were dealing with language, logic, structure, seriousness, and knowledge. Very adult-like behaviors, very unemotional. But right brain people, in my day, they all wore patchouli, and maybe I did too, I forget. But we had right brain people are into music, intuition, spontaneity, playfulness, creativity. These are very meaningful to them. But keep in mind, as we discussed, there is no one particular correct pathway. And folks that understand their dominant pathway but look to increase their ability on the other pathways generally do the best. So we also have, again, I apologize for this, we also have one last old-fashioned kind of learning style that I want to turn you on to here. And it's 7 kinds of smart. And it's the way people in my grandparents' generation would refer to learning and teaching. It's how people would talk. And remember, that's not so far away. I'm probably, for many of you, I am your grandparents' age. I'm old enough to be your parents' parent. And so my grandparents spoke like this. So, we're looking, 5, 6 generations ago, or less. So Thomas Armstrong authored what was known as 7 kinds of smart. And obviously math smart is not one of them, because if you look here, there are 8. So perhaps he thought 2 are actually fit into 1. But word smart, that would go to people who like to write or speak. Picture smart, somebody who's very artistic. Logic smart, they solve problems. Music smart, a musician. Body smart and outdoor smart. Some people would think that they're the same, but they're not. Body smart might be somebody who's a nutritionist or works out in the gym. Outdoor smart would be somebody like Bear Grylls, who goes in the woods and eats worms for a week and comes out and talks about it. Self-smart, that might be somebody who is very self-aware. And people smart, these are the folks that are the best sales people in the world. These are the car dealers that can come up to you and instantly be your best friend, and they can read you like a book, and they write the price of the car down on paper and show it to you so they can look at your face and see if you smile or frown at the price, and they know exactly how to prepare their next statement. These are people smart folks. And I don't know how many of you here are people smart, but as you can see, it's been around for generations. So, just wrapping up here, and if you have questions, please post on the help column. I put for H6 the Kolb assessment, and the directions for the Kolb assessment are: complete the Kolb assessment. It's online. You click it. You take it like a regular exam, but the results are not saved in grade-like fashion. So after you take the exam, if you click on OK, and I'm going to show you this in the lower right, you'll be able to see your responses for each question. You need to create on your phone, on the number pad on your phone, or if you want to write it down on a piece of paper, 4 columns. Now, when you did the Kolb, it told you to assign a value of 1 being the least important or least desirable, to 4 being the most important or most desirable, to each answer for each question. Now, part of this is that you would add the columns up. For every A, there are 10 questions. Every number you put on every space for every A, you add those up. You go next to the B's. Every spot for an B answer, you assigned a number to it from 1 to 4. You choose that number that you assigned and you add all the B's together. You do it for the sum of the C column and for the sum of the D column. And voila, you now have 4 totals. The A column is for thinking learners, as you see. B is for doing, C is for feeling, D is for innovating. Now there will be a numeric total for each column. If you got 30 to 40, figure you're answering 3 or 4 consistently on all the D's, you're probably an innovating learner. Or if it was 30 to 40 total on the C's, feeling, probably a very feeling learner. So, group is going to be important to you. So I think that you get this part. So I'm going to minimize this and minimize that, and let me go in and I'm going to show you how to do the Kolb assessment. You click on quizzes, and let's see where I put it. Oh, it's in homework. I apologize. I put it in homework. So we're going down, and here is the Kolb assessment. I put the directions here. The videos are under the Learning Styles page. They're now available. But you're going to click on this, and it's going to open to a natural learning Kolb assessment. You are going to begin. Okay? Each question has 4 responses. Question, and there are 10 questions, so there's 40 possible answers. I would prefer to take a college course in science. For me, that's a disagree. I would prefer to take a college course in business management. That would be next. I already used the D. Question 3, group process. I could probably like that. I enjoy working with groups, and again, it's still the question. I would prefer to take a college course in an independent study I design. That's absolutely it for me. So I'm going to click. Everything is saved. Now moving on, even though it says question 5, it's the next question group. I solve problems by standing back and thinking and analyzing what is wrong. that is, pretty much where it's at for me. Doing something practical and seeing how it works, yeah, that's leaping in and doing it. I don't leap into anything. I wish I did. I'm just not that type of person. I admire people who are. So, you can see how we can derive our answers from all of this. So you do that and you save, and then you click Save and Submit. And here is where you find your results. And here are my answers. A, 4, so I'm going to put 4. A4, I'm going to put 4. That's 8. 4, that's 16. 4, that's 20. So I already have 20. Here's another one. 4. So you add up the numbers next to each column, and that will tell you what your learning style is. So again, any questions or problems, post to the help section, and let me know what you think. Good luck.